So, Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty. Very, very good. Maybe a little bit short, although a lot happened even after that boss fight, and I thought that boss fight was pretty much going to be it. Like, cut to credits, or maybe a sequence where we kill Somi or something like that. I didn't think it was going to go down nearly as complex as it would like this, when it very much seemed like they had a final boss fight. It actually is a pretty significant amount of content. Nothing like Blood and Wine, really. Like, no, I mean, granted, I don't know how different the endings are or anything, or different the paths you can take through it. But hey, I'm planning to play through it also with my Netrunner build, with the one that looks like X-Ray Girl, and I might even try it with my Gunfighter. I hope the crashing issues improve, because in two sequences in particular, in the fight against, spoiler alerts if you want to know that there's a fight against a person at some point in the game, 3, 2, 1, Kurt Hansen, the like militia lord, which, yeah, surprise, he's got a boss fight, right? That boss fight, repeated crashes to the point that I ended my stream yesterday. The whole first, I want to say, hour of the stream today was constant crashes during that fight. I tried it on a different computer and crashed over there, and then tried it again over here and it crashed a few times, and then it didn't crash one time. And then the same thing started happening in the, I suppose, spoiler alert, I wonder if that's actually CD Projekt. Oh, hello, CD Projekt, giving me the face palm. I'm sorry, like, I mean, feel free, like, back up the VOD. I'm not making this up if that's actually CD Projekt in my kick chat. But anyways, that was kind of wild. Like, I was like, it's actually crashing this much. But hey, you know, it seemed like I just rolled the dice lucky one time where I happened to not die, and also it happened to not crash, and I got through both of those fights. And then everything for the rest of the game, no more crashes the entire last segment, where you're going to the underground lab and doing some survival horror, or like I guess closet horror. I don't know, like, do they call that monster closet horror? No, because monster closet would be things where it's just constantly enemies coming out. Is it locker horror? Like, there's a word that they use for games like Outlast and Alien Isolation, where you're not really doing a lot of fighting, and so it's not survival horror like a Resident Evil game. But I'm blanking on what the term people use, because I don't really play them. Like, I've never played Outlast. I didn't play Alien Isolation more than to fiddle around with it. I guess it's Amnesia. I played Amnesia and Soma, and they're sort of like that. The whole end sequence that was happening in this stream is kind of that sort of setup. And I didn't hate it. I thought it was actually pretty well done for the most part. And once you figure out the rules, because it took me a little, like, I didn't realize that the thing didn't really respond to sound, that it was only line of sight, but it was perfect line of sight. So if it gets you from like across the room, you're done. Like, you don't have a second or two to hide and then it loses you. It's just like a one-hit kill instant. But I mean, it wasn't that long, but it was long enough that it felt significant, and like, this was actually a puzzle, and each of the terminals you had to disable had some pretty interesting puzzles. It was all like a different way to shut down each one. I do like the fact that they were at least passionate enough about the idea that V's body either becomes okay. More spoilers for Cyberpunk 2077 in 3, 2, 1. Either V's body becomes Johnny Silverhand, so it will be Johnny Silverhand going forward, but it looks like whatever V looked like in Cyberpunk 2077, which I always thought was a bad idea, really. Unless they make it so that if Keanu Reeves shows up in Cyberpunk 2080 or whatever the next one's gonna be, they have it so that he's just gotten like cosmetic surgery to just look like Keanu Reeves again and sound like him, regardless of what V was. And the other option is V's body dies and mine dies. Like, he just dies. So it's V can't live inside V and not die. So V presumably dies at some point. I guess I won't spoil the exact cutscene if you haven't gotten that ending. But there's not really a way to end Cyberpunk with a happy ending. It's either, like, V is dead either way. Like, there's not really a way to save V. There's only a way to save his body. And like, it's, well, I mean, you keep Johnny alive that way, I guess. So that 8 is probably the better ending, because if one of them gets to live and V's body gets to, still exist, and Johnny can still interact with his friends and family and give them good send-offs. I hope everybody enjoys Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty, but I also hope that CD Projekt Red works on the crashing issues, because the two most insane battles in the game were the ones that had the most crashing. That kind of sucks, It's like, especially because with the new balancing for the 2.0 update, the hard difficulty is actually pretty challenging too. So it wasn't really easy to get him down to 0 consistently. So it was like, oh man, I'd say that this was probably about 12 hours, 12-hour DLC roughly, which, not crazy long, but also about the length of a first-person shooter campaign, So it's I can't really complain about it that much. And yeah, and I think it slots in as a side story really well. But I don't think it would be a good thing to do right at the end of the game, because now it just kind of seemed like I was on full steam ahead towards the end of Cyberpunk 2077, and then just boom, a full-blown action movie story happens, and then I'm back to the other action movie that I was just in. So I don't know. It's I think it will work better mid-campaign than right before the end of the campaign. But yeah, I think that if you're a fan of Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty is definitely worth buying. However, if you've not played it before, unless you get a really good price on a bundle, I would say just get Cyberpunk first, because Cyberpunk 2077. Play that, and when you get towards the end, maybe then decide if you like it enough to want to buy Phantom Liberty. Or if you find that at any point you're liking it out here, it's like, oh yeah, I'm definitely playing the Spy DLC, then then just get it at that time. But I don't think you need to buy Phantom Liberty and Cyberpunk right now if you haven't played it before.